The Force is strong with this one. Hey everybody, I'm Geno Reynolds from The Real Geno. Let's get into it. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Tying into the events of Star Wars A New Hope, Rogue One, a ragtag group of former criminals, thieves, and a reprogrammed Imperial droid lead the rebellion on a risky mission to steal the plans for the Death Star, a move that will inspire hope for the future. While I have a few minor gripes about this movie, I can come out and say that for the most part, Rogue One is a solid entry into the Star Wars mythos. While I would put this movie around the middle of the pack, it belongs in the company of the original trilogy and The Force Awakens, and not in the company of the prequels, even though technically it is a prequel. One thing that I liked is the new characters introduced into the mythos. The only minor complaint I would have about them is that there are 6 of them, so we don't really get enough time with them to really get to dig into who they are. So I guess what I'm saying is that I wanted a lot more of them. I really liked the diversity of the squad. It made the whole group feel more like they were a pieced together ragtag group of misfits. When it comes to not getting to know them, I hope that Disney does a comic series or introduces the characters to the Rebels cartoon to flesh them out a bit more. While I liked all of the new heroes, my favorite characters had to be Alan Tudyk's K2SO and Donnie Yen's Cheru Imwe. Yen plays what is basically a blind Force monk. He's not a Jedi, so he doesn't have any Force powers or a lightsaber or anything like that, but he faithfully follows the Force, no questions asked. Also, let's just say he knows how to put a beat down on some stormtroopers. K2SO is, in my opinion, the one that gets the most character development behind Felicity Jones's character Jyn Erso. At first, he seems like an uncaring and cold droid. He has no filter in what he says and also seems like he has to do what he is told by his master, Cassian Andor, played by Diego Luna. As the movie goes on, he starts to warm up and become more caring and willing to throw caution, or should I say probability, to the wind for his friends. Also, Tudyk's dry delivery leads to a lot of the movie's humor and what became my favorite scene involving a new character. When it came to the villains, here is where I had a few issues. But Geno, you ask, isn't Darth freaking Vader in this movie? Yes, and he's as awesome as always, but I'll get to that in a bit. The main villain of the movie is director Orson Krennic, who is the one that is overseeing the creation of the Death Star. While I like Ben Mendelsohn's performance as Krennic, the character itself wasn't very menacing, so when it came time for him to feel like a threat, he kinda didn't. It did help that most of the time he was flanked by black-suited death troopers. Now, back to Darth Vader. For those wanting and or expecting a ton of the Sith Lord in this will be a little disappointed. I'm not saying that he isn't great in the short time he's in this, though. He's in 2 scenes in the movie, one showing that Vader's got jokes, and the other shows how much of a badass he really is. Oh, and welcome back, James Earl Jones. Welcome back. Another minor complaint would be that I kinda missed having the crawl at the beginning of the movie. Is it necessary? No, but I think I'd still rather have it there. It worked for the video games and things like that, so I think it could have worked here too. My final complaint involves the use of CG to create 2 classic characters from Episode 4. While I didn't find the CG to be Jeff Bridges' Tron Legacy awkward or the Hobbit Dane the Dwarf bad, it is still pretty jarring to watch. Look, I know and understand why they didn't want to recast these 2 iconic characters, but I feel they should have either done it anyway or found a better workaround for them. Characters like Mon Mothma were recast, and I thought that this probably would have been the better way to go. When it comes to the overall plot, I was pretty happy with it. I will say that the later TV spots and trailers give away too much for those that know their stuff. I would suggest avoiding as much as possible when going to see this. I will say that you can tell that they did some reshoots because there is definitely some things missing in the movie that showed up in the trailers, like that lame "I rebel" line. Lastly, there are some cameos involving some beloved and some not so beloved characters that you know from Episode 4. I won't spoil any of it for you, but you just watch watch closely, and you may spot some that you love. Despite the minor issues I had with the movie, this is still a solid entry into the franchise. It has likable characters, a decent yet familiar plot, and fits right at home with the original trilogy. For those that are worried about it, don't be. The Force is strong with this one, which is impressive, but remember, it's only just one guy's opinion. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you've seen here, please subscribe to the Real Geno YouTube channel. Feel free to comment below and give this video a like. Until next time, I'm Geno Reynolds from The Real Geno.